Live. I think, yeah, live. All right, what's the story, bro?
Hey, buddy, how are you doing?
Good, do good. How are you? Is it still lockdown over there?
No, Tokyo was pretty quick and over with the lockdown. It was officially lifted on the 27th, I believe, or 26th. So we didn't really go into a hard lockdown like the rest of the world. It's against Japanese constitution for them to command businesses to shut down and to command people
Wow.
to stay in their house. So it was a little bit different, but I think this whole COVID-19 shit is a big ass scam anyways. So I think despite what everybody wants to say, I think there was real no harm. It was just more of a political power grab and financial move, to be honest with you.
Well, there's definitely people taking advantage of the situation for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, just for people who might not know who you are, introduce yourself there for my audience.
So my name's Jonathan from ModernLifeDating.com. I am a men's excellence coach, dating coach, focus on the big three: make money, make muscles, learn game. I'm joined by my co-host today. I just got a puppy,
Let's see
and
you.
oh
That's
my god,
tiny.
she's about 700 grams.
It's your
She's
best new wingman.
Dude, this I did not. I got this puppy because I wanted to have her, so I wouldn't be like so lonely. Because Tokyo is like a city you can get really lonely in, especially because I run my business full time. So it's just a one man show, me in the apartment. I don't have colleagues to go and hang out with, and I keep a pretty tight circle. I only have like two really good friends that I hang out with in Tokyo, and they have like one of them is married and one of them has a full time job. So I got the puppy thinking that she would just be like my little best friend, which she is, and it would just be more of a happiness point for me. But I took her to the park today, man, and I
Sloosh.
oh the one word I could use to describe my experience today when I took her to the park was intrusive. Man,
Oh, wow.
these girls were like animals. They were like walking up to me like, "Hey, can we borrow your puppy?" I was like, "No, bitch. No, you can't borrow my puppy." I was like, "You can pet her." And what I did was I made her an Instagram so I can
Oh,
funnel all the
brilliant.
girls to her Instagram and then hit on them later.
That's
So
genius.
it
And
works
I know
out
you're
pretty
not a
well.
tourist then as well, because if you have a dog, you're obviously settled there, and they're like, long term as well.
Mm-hmm.
How did you end up in Tokyo anyway?
Oh man, I so a little bit about me is just like I grew up pretty poor. And I grew up in the worst way possible a poor kid could grow up. Is like I was like grew up poor, but I was right at the edge of the rich people's school district. So I was poor as shit, but I went to school in America with like some of the richest people in the state. And that made me really obsessed with like wanting to be rich and wanting to be successful and live life on my own terms. So I started studying self development, success stuff, and all that stuff. And I realized that, God bless them, they're all wonderful people, but my group of friends back home were all fucking losers. And if I wanted to be anything in life, I needed to get the hell away from them. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. Let me go to the other side of the world. And it was also kind of my rite of passage because I had studied about rite of passage, and I didn't feel like I was entirely like a man. I felt like I was a man on paper, but I didn't feel like concrete in my masculinity. And so this was my rite of passage. And I was like, I'm going to go to Japan and try to survive on my own for 2 years. And I just got on a plane one day. I had 2,500 bucks in my pocket. I bought a one-way ticket. I got rid of my truck, my apartment, everything, and I like made it very, very,
Wow.
very hard for me to come
Fuck.
back. And
Respect, man. Respect.
yeah, I did it, and it was the best decision of my life. I did that. I got here November 4th, 2012, and then I bounced around the
Wow.
world a little bit, and then I ended up back here because honestly, like I mean, it is what it is. But like Western girls are pigs for the most part.
I lived in America for 2 years. I know the story there. It's very hard to find quality women.
Where
But
were
quick
you?
question. I was Manhattan. Was
Oh
Manhattan.
wow, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Pure hedonism. Pure
yeah.
hedonism. You can imagine with the Irish accent as well. It was pretty fun. But what's the story with the residency visa and that kind of stuff? It's not difficult to stay there.
If you get a job, so I'll tell you I guess I can tell you the red pill and the blue pill version of it. So the
right,
blue
go for
pill is
red
like
pill.
blue pills. You get a version that you interview offshore, and then you get the whole visa processed while you're in your home country, and then after that, it'll probably take you about 6 to 9 months to get here.
Fuck.
But the way I did it, the first time I did was the blue pill way, which is like, following by the book. I came 2 other separate times, and as an American, and I'm pretty sure for the Irish as well, you're granted a 90-day tourist visa when you set foot in Narita Airport or Kansai Airport over there in Osaka. And basically, you have 90 days to get a job and get a visa processed if you want to do that. And if you run out of time, people do a Korea day trip. So they'll fly one day to Korea, fly back, and then you get a whole other 90 days. And you could do that 90-day cycle 3 times in a row. So basically, you could stay for basically 3/4 of the year, because 90, 90, 270,
Nice.
yeah.
Was that easy? Huh.
Yeah, they if you're just sometimes they'll sometimes I got detained one time by immigration when I did the Korea run, and they're like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like smuggling drugs in here?" I was like, "No, sir. I just have my bag here," and I was like, "I'm gonna get a job," and just wanted to reset my visa, and I didn't say I want to reset my visa. I said like I wanted to go see Korea.
Nice. And by the way, I have to say, I compliment your work ethic, guys. By the way, John's website is up here. It's modernlifedating.com. You can see it there.
Yes.
He's a dating coach. I know you don't like the term PUA. I don't either, by the way. I hate that term.
I'm not a
Um,
PUA. Those guys are
yeah,
dorks.
yeah, exactly. I have obviously read the game and stuff like that, but I always felt uncomfortable with that title,
Mm-hmm.
And what I was going to say to you, yeah, I really liked your roasting on. You did what was it? It was something like
MGTOW
MGTOW.
dictionary.
Yeah, dude, that was brilliant. You totally scolded those lads. That was hilarious to watch.
That traveled around way farther than I ever thought. I've had a lot of people. I've had people from like the Black Manosphere contact me like, "Yo, dog, I saw what you did to that motherfucker." He's like, "That shit was pure gold."
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. We have a first question here. Actually, do you need to know Japanese to meet girls there?
Now, the answer is no. But if you want to meet the creme de la creme, the hottest of the hottest, you got to speak Japanese.
Yeah, otherwise you're just getting sixes kind of thing.
No, I mean, I've fucked some seriously hot girls, and I don't speak a lick of Japanese, but like,
No, you don't.
uh, it's
A
pretty
little bit.
bad, dude.
Yeah, it's a
It's
hard
pretty bad.
language.
I mean, it's just because I just put it off. I'm starting lessons on June 8th, but yeah, it was just I have a mate here actually. He's Irish. You could follow him on Instagram. His name's Mac the Day Gamer. The guy.
Oh yeah, I saw him on. He was on your stream yesterday.
Yeah, that's
His
like my
accent's very
go-to.
strange.
He's been in Japan for 5 years, so it's kind of faded. But he's man, this guy is a dog, first of all. And second of all, I mean, this guy pulls some of the hottest girls. He does photography. So what he
nice.
does is he's an ass man, and he does all nude photography. And what he does is it's pretty phenomenal. He meets these girls in the street and he says, "Hey, what's up? I'm a photographer. I'd like to take your photograph." And then he shows them his Instagram. His Instagram is drip drop slop. So if you go to that, you can see all the photos of the girls. They have their ass out, they're naked, they're wearing like these string bikinis. So the girls know what kind of guy he is, and he's like, "Do you want to do a photo shoot with me?" And then they agree to it. So then he brings them over. He takes their photos, and then he says, "Hey," at the end of the photo shoot, he says, "Hey, I'm really good at giving massages. Do you want a massage?" And if they say yeah, they usually strip down, and he massages them with oil, and then goes right at it.
Damn, that's some serious camera game right there.
He's a boss. He's a fucking boss for sure.
That's a niche now if ever I heard one. I was gonna pull up his Instagram there, but I'm sure we get kicked off YouTube for it. It sounds like it. I've got a few questions as well from Facebook that people wanted to ask in my
Sweet.
Facebook group. Um, actually, before I do that, I want to just ask you more questions just about yourself. How did you get into game in general and being a dating coach?
Well, it started because I grew up without a dad, so I never met my dad, and he died when I was 15. So that was just a part of me that was kind of like, I don't know if you want to say I was overcompensating, but I just really, when you grow up without a father, it's very hard for you to, or if your dad's a pussy too, like it's hard for you to get kind of closure about your own masculinity. Because usually, if your father's like, "Yes, son, that's the way you do it," you know what I mean. But when you have a mom who doesn't even know how to teach you how to shave or tie a tie, you know what I mean. Like these little things, they're hard to figure out. So I tried looking into this, and I'd always had been what you call, like, I guess you can call a natural. I was like a bad boy in youth church. You know, I was always like hiding in the choir room and making out with girls and sucking on titties and stuff. So I was never like, one of these hard case noobs, but I just knew like um that being raised in the church, they really fucked me up with like what women really are. Like when I found out, my friend one time he told me, he's like, "Yeah, man, I met this girl." He was 21 and I was 21 at the time, so he was like, "Yeah, I met this girl at the bar. It's that night. I went home and I had sex with her and we didn't even use a condom." And I was like, "You're lying." I was like, "You are." I was like, "I can't believe
That's
you're."
not true.
Yeah, I was sincerely convinced that he was lying to me, and I was like, "You're a bad friend for lying to me." I thought like I was like sincerely like shaming him for being a liar, and he was like, "No, dude, this shit really happens." And I was like, because I was so naive from being raised in the church. The church kind of pussifies guys. They make you kind of like a sheep, and so I had like these natural instincts to
The
womanize.
Protestant church or Catholic church or
Pentecostal.
Pentecostal? All right.
Yeah, they're the ones that dance with snakes and shit.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's like a southern thing.
Okay. Sounds
So
weird.
yeah, I mean my church didn't do that, but like the extreme ones do. But so I was brainwashed hardcore. So I had like my internal instincts. It's like, yo, just fuck these hoes. And like the second half was like, the rapture is coming. You need to repent every 30 minutes, or you're gonna be taken to the lake of fire. And so I had I had finally like I went to school to become a pastor. I got thrown out because I was having sex with this one girl, and then after that, that
Oh,
was
you went to school
19.
to become a pastor.
I went to
That's
yep,
pretty hardcore.
I
Wow.
went to school to become a pastor, and I was going on mission trips. I went to Africa. I went to like all these places to tell people about Jesus.
Oh, cool. Where'd you go in Africa?
Johannesburg,
Oh,
South Africa.
yeah, I've heard mixed opinions about Johannesburg. I hear it's a bit ropey.
It was sketch as fuck for sure. It was not like a luxurious vacation whatsoever.
Yeah, Cape Town is gorgeous, though. I love that place. Did you get a chance to check it out? Did you?
No, no, no. I was only like 15 when I went. I was a kid.
Ah, okay. So,
So I was with the church and I got really sick. I got mononucleosis while I was there. And so I got really, really, really sick. So I was only able to see a little bit of it. But I was just like, heavily indoctrinated in the church. So then I started like, I just knew. You ever watch Star Wars?
yeah, yeah.
So you ever see like on Empire Strike Back when Luke tries to lift the X-wing out of the swamp at Dagobah, but he couldn't do it. He moves it a little bit, but he couldn't pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt with girls. I was like, I was like, I kind of have a grasp of this. Like, I kind of understand seduction, but I don't have it down to a science. And I believed in my heart that there was a science to this seduction, to like do certain things and get sex at a higher rate in regard to like a probability. And so I did fall victim to the whole PUA thing. I started studying, like I saw that guy, what's his name, Meow, and then Mystery, and Neil Strauss, and I read the Game by Neil Strauss, and I was like, this shit didn't teach me anything about girls. This shit is fucking like a biography.
It's a story. Yeah, yeah, it's a story.
Yeah, I was like, I thought this was gonna be the fucking book to teach me, and I was so disappointed. And I had looked at the guy and I'd realized like he was talking like I had sex with this girl and my dick was still hard after, so I think I was in love. I was like, this guy's a fucking dork. I don't care about love. I want to bang a lot of girls and learn how to do it. So that's when PUA left like a real negative taste in my mouth, and that's when I kind of stumbled upon the red pill. The red pill subreddit now is a complete dumpster fire, but I would say like in 2012, 2013, it was really raw. It was really good, and I would read that a lot. They're a little bit more on the negative side. They just think like every girl is a cheating whore. It's only a matter of time.
It's a bit much. It went down a certain path at one point. I think with the RVF forum and stuff, there was a big negativity bias that just kind of crept in. A lot of nihilists.
Yeah. A lot of dorks are in the red pill community, to be honest with you. A lot of these guys that I've met on the internet, like, you know, Troy told me about you. So I'm going to go ahead and assume you're a certified playboy. And
I've dabbled.
Yeah. So I'll tell you this. This guy, he was like a verified contributor, and he would always be such like a condescending prick on the forums, writing to these girls, writing about girls and talking down to dudes and everything. And I was like, okay, like this guy's, you know, Johnny Big Dick online. I said, let me see what he's like when we meet in person. So I met him, and then at one point we had this group text going on. You're gonna fucking laugh at this shit. We had this group text going on, and he sends a text message to the group. And he's like, hey, guys, I've already slept with this girl before. She spent the night last night. We're both in my bed right now. How do I initiate sex with her?
What?
This is like a verified contributor on the Red Pill. Red Sun Blue is his username. And his name is Kirk. He's a real dork. And so I was just like, bro, like this is like womanizing day one fucking school shit. Like, you're kidding me, right? But you didn't know how to do it. So then I met a couple of these red pill dorks, and like that's just what they are. They're like I call them red pill masturbators. You know, they've read The Rational Male, they got all Rushvi's books, they know all the terminology and everything, but at the end of the day, they don't live the life. They're not banging a bunch of broads. They can't get sex on demand, and it's just that kind of put me on the path to create my own content.
Yeah, that's fucking cool, man. And I mean, I've met a lot of the similar guys online from forums and stuff, and it's a real mixed bag. You get a lot of guys who just, you know, wouldn't stand a chance, you know, going up to a girl and chatting her up. You know, they might like just be online, just completely using like online game and stuff like that. Like really just if they get laid in, let's say, twice a year, they'd be doing well for themselves. But there are some genuine guys, you know. Yeah.
Sex twice a year, I would fucking seriously, I'd blow my brains out. Fuck that.
Oh yeah, well there's people who fucking don't get laid at all, you know.
God bless those men.
Yeah, well that's why you're here. That's what your job is. Your job is to help them out.
You know, a lot of these dating coaches and like whatever people you want to call here, you know, it's funny that they are like, I see a lot of them like scrounging and have like a scarcity mindset. Like, you know, these are my members and this is my group and stuff. And I'm like, listen, you don't understand how many pathetic dudes there are in the world. We have endless amounts of customers and endless amounts of men to help. Like, I could replicate myself 100 times and I would not even scratch the surface, because I feel like the average guy is just atrocious with game. Atrocious.
And reluctant to learn in a lot of cases as well. You know, you give advice to guys and some people just don't want to hear it. They're very conditioned into their mindset, you know, very, very blue pilled. Like I have friends that have, you know, seen me in action, and I've been years trying to get through to them, but some people just, they don't want the information.
Yeah, and you know, that's another reason why I started my my channel, right? These guys, there are people. It's just like, I'm gonna get a little basic here, but like, you know, it's like Morpheus said in the Matrix. Like, some people are so blue pilled that they will fight to defend their blue pill beliefs and the blue pill system, because it's too painful for them to realize the reality of female sexual nature.
Yeah, well, it's pretty dark, man. I've seen the worst of it, trust me. I
Yeah?
don't know if you know my history, but I used to like like I go to war zones dressed like a Mexican pirate with my mates, so we're full on sombreros, fake mustaches,
Mm-hmm.
swords and stuff. And we get into some serious stuff with like just nabbing guys' girlfriends at the bar and like, you know, when you go into a random place in, I don't know, you know, Crapistan with all this crap in your face, the girls just go crazy for it. And you can see some pretty dark stuff happening. You know, like girls sneaking off to bathrooms to make out with you, well, and then going back to the bar with their boyfriends and all that kind of thing. And it's hard to, when you've seen enough of it,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty. You've seen enough raw female id. It's
Yeah.
very hard to go back to romantic notions that were taught to us by Disney.
Oh my God. Dude, I cheat. I accuse my girlfriend of cheating on me on a weekly basis just to keep her on her toes. And like, one time I went to this club in Osaka, which is the western side of Japan, and I met this girl, and she like looked at me, and she was like, "Hey," she's like, you know, she was flirting with me. She's like, "Hey, I love you." I was like, "Listen, I love you too." I was like, I love you a lot. And she was like, "Oh, good." And then I walked away and I kept on drinking with my buddies. And then she saw me again. She's like, "Hey, love you." I was like, "Yeah, I love you too." And I pulled her towards me and started kissing her. And then I ended up making out with her. And I was like, "Come on, let's get out of here." And I took her back to my apartment that night. And so this is within 45 minutes of meeting her. I take her back to my apartment. I'm fucking her. I don't advise it. I don't advise this, kids, but I was not using a condom. So I'm having like
That's
unprotected.
okay. It's Japan.
Yeah.
I can't imagine diseases are very high there.
It's okay. I have so many STDs they cancel each other out. So,
even your crabs have herpes.
yeah. So I'm banging her, right? And then we just have some wild sex, and then we're laying in bed, and her phone like is ringing. She's ignoring it, and then she looks at me. She's like, "Oh man, nah," which was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry." And then she picks up the phone, and it's her boyfriend. He's like, "Hey,
Oh.
where the fuck are you? I'm at the club looking for you." She's like, "I went outside."
Oh, they
with
went to
my
the club together. Ah,
Yeah, she's like, "I went
Jesus
outside.
Christ.
I'm with my friend. I'm with my friend." She's like, "Why are you like this? You're always so jealous. I don't like you. Oh my God." Then she hung up and she had like this big, like shit-eating grin on her face, right?
Oh.
And so then, you know, we go for round two. And then she puts on her clothes, leaves my apartment, and goes back out to the club, goes back to her boyfriend. And so, like, when you, like, I have PTSD, man. I have post-thought, I have, like, what is it called? PTSD? Yeah. Post-traumatic thought stress disorder. I just
Oh
have,
God.
or post-traumatic
Seen too
slut
much.
disorder. Yeah.
That's where,
Post-traumatic
like,
slut disorder.
guys think I'm extreme when you should go for a girl who doesn't really drink. You know, in Ireland that's unheard of. But I tell guys all the time, like, honestly, if they're drinking and out at bars, there's guys like me around. So it's like, you know, you got to be quite conservative with who you're with.
What do you mean?
As in, like, when you're choosing a partner, you don't want them to be a big drinker, which is
Oh,
in
yeah.
Ireland, yeah, you know, like or just not be interested in drink at all. Actually, the kind of girls who like don't go to clubs or bars at all.
Oh, yeah. That's
people
just
think that's
recipe for
extreme.
disaster.
People think that's extreme. In Ireland, like, you don't really find girls like that. But I tell guys all the time that you actually need to be pretty extreme, and that's why you need to go shopping abroad, like yourself.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I just like I don't date girls that go to clubs. Like I don't seriously date girls who go to clubs. I don't seriously date girls who drink. I refuse to do it because that's just like it's unnecessary risk to bring into your relationship. And I'm a very success oriented guy. I'm on my purpose. Like, you know, I'm trying to like build a real estate empire, build this business up, and eventually span on into other businesses. I'm heavily involved in the crypto space as well.
I know
And
that. I'm very interested in crypto myself. I like your streams.
thank you. Did you see we had John McAfee on?
How did you get him?
Thou have not because thou ask not, my son. So, I just
Well done.
We
He's
hit
a
him up. We're like,
madman.
oh my God! Did you watch that interview?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, dude, it was fucking red pill, man.
Oh, yeah,
It was
I can't.
red
I actually
pill.
can't wait. I'm gonna watch it straight after that because I saw you posted it. I didn't know you'd already broadcast. That's fantastic. Just fair play, man. That's a good guest to have on. His story is insane.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's a wild man, and that's why I want to be like. I just want to be a guy because especially after losing my faith in religion, I used to think that we would live forever. I was like literally thought like we'd live forever, and now I realize like there is no God, there is no afterlife. You get one shot, and then it's game over. It's that eternal blackness for all of us. So I'm trying to live life to the fucking max. I'm trying to bang as much broads, go fucking see all the nice beaches, make all the money, live the dream. So when I die, I have no regrets. And like,
Yeah.
just living that life of mediocrity, going to the office. Hey, Bob, how are you? You fucking no. And you're Susie, take the kids to the fucking football game. Get out of here. No, that's not for me. Now, God bless the people who choose that lifestyle. That's fine. But for me, and especially interviewing a guy like John McAfee, I mean, that right there was really, that was
a prime
really
example of a guy who lives life.
Oh yeah, on his yeah, man, he's it was awesome interviewing him. Definitely recommend it for sure.
Oh yeah, guys, check it out on John has a really active YouTube channel. It's really good. He gets awesome guests on cool streams. They talk about everything from crypto, pickup. I just going back onto Japan. Some of the questions I got were, so what's the main difference you would say between Japanese girls and Western girls? If you could say like 3 points on that.
Ultra feminine, not fat, and very domesticated. They had this like fucking feminist entitled shitbag college come over here and like try to do some study, and they're like, okay, like time to like show these Japanese chauvinists like the right Western way. You know what I mean? Real fucking internally, very, like I hate Western women because they are so narcissistic in the fact that they believe that their culture is superior and that like, oh, these poor Japanese women are so stupid. That's why we need to enlighten them about feminism, right? So they came over here with their entitled fucking study that they wanted to do, and they went to these universities and they said, hey, girls, like you're strong, you're young, you're independent, like what is your goal for going to university? And a fucking crippling majority of the girls were like, we want to get married and have babies immediately. That's like the majority of the girls' goals. And they were blown away.
Yeah, that's like a lot of the East as well, from Georgia, Armenia, all the way across Central Asia, those attitudes prevail. And that's the norm for history.
Yeah.
I had a Japanese girlfriend for about a year back in the day, and I found them very I hate to say it, but it's almost like having a pet a bit.
Yeah.
They're so compliant and stuff, and they're so easygoing.
Yeah. Very down to earth, I would say.
Yeah, no, really nice as well. Like they're very cute, very, very cute.
Yeah.
Another question: are Japanese girls scared of like tourists? Like when you go up and approach them in the day? That's another question I have.
Sounds to me like a question from a guy that doesn't have a game. Like if you're good at approaching women in one country, you're probably going to be good at approaching women anywhere else. You know what I mean?
But sorry, apologies. That was in context to after the virus. So Ivan says, how's the dating scene after the virus? Are the girls scared when approached by a tourist? Sorry, that's the context there.
No, I mean, look, dude, I had so much sex during that whole lockdown. Like I came out with my course, Pandemic Pickup, right? It's closed now, but I came out with Pandemic Pickup. I showed guys how to optimize their dating profiles, how to manipulate the algorithms on Bumble and Tinder and all these things. And I know how to play the game and the algorithm really well. So, I mean, I met this girl who's a real freak, man. Just recently, she used the back of her throat to jerk off my dick when she was giving me head. That was my first time. You know that opening in the back of your throat?
Yeah.
She was doing that. That's a first timer for me. So I'm a big fan of the coronavirus thanks to that. But I mean, I think people underestimate how much humans think, want, and desire sex. I really think that, like, everything, you know what they say, like, everything is about sex except for sex, and sex is about power.
Power, yeah.
Dude, these girls, I mean, like I said, my buddy Mac, the Irish guy, right? Man, this guy, he just, like, gives absolutely zero fucks. He walks up to these girls. His Japanese is really good. He studied for a long time. And he just walks up to them, and he says, he does, what is it, a compliment interest question. and then he gets the conversation going, and then he says, you know, under 5 minutes, dude, 3 minutes. I've seen him do it sometimes. So he says, "You're cool. Like, give me your phone number, whatever." And then he did it in the midst of the pandemic. He picked up this one girl. She's 23, super hot, super cute, very feminine. Baked him cupcakes and shit, and she wasn't even giving him IOIs or anything. You know, he just walked up to her, and this was in the middle of the lockdown. So again, I think it's contextual. If you're like a creepy guy and you just walk up, you're like, "Hey, hey girl," you know what I mean? And if you don't speak Japanese, some girls will be turned off by it, or just, you know, the sheer lack of communication, it'll damper the situation. But I've had a couple girls who are like, well, I'm like, the news said this, and like some girls are just fucking stupid. But I mean, for the majority of it, like, I don't think it was as big of an issue as a lot of people thought it would be.
I imagine that as a white lad, you have a lot of exotic capital over there.
I'm only half white, but I get because I'm like
It's the light in your screen. It's
yeah.
What's your ethnic background? Yeah, is Hispanic or something, or
no? Everybody thinks Hispanic. No, so I'm actually, if you want to get down straight to the genetics, I'm half Caucasian and half Indian. But my mom is West Indian, from a small island in the Caribbean called Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh yeah. I hear so you're half Caribbean. I hear that's a fun place for carnival.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to go there. I've been to 110 countries. I still have to get to that side of things.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm trying to do every single one of them. But when I got to my 100th one on my 30th birthday, but then I decided I need to slow down because I might finish them too early, and then
yeah.
Then
do you want to go to Antarctica?
I've been.
Yeah, I want to go there so bad.
It's amazing. Best trip of my life.
Really? How did you get there? Cruise?
No, I was on a scientific expedition on a ship called the Polar Star. My first book, Naughty Nomads, it's after my website. It's the kind of opening chapter. I was 18. I was lucky. My girlfriend at the time was living in a tiny town up in the countryside, and she lived in the same town as Jonathan Shackleton, which is the cousin of Ernest Shackleton, the explorer.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of got me in touch with this guy, and I got a kind of had to apply with this essay, and I managed to get a place on a student expedition. So I'm fucking sweating like a cunter. I got a place on a student expedition to Antarctica. It was incredible. Like the Drake Passage, most dangerous sea in the world. You know, we hit waves so big one time, you know, it knocked everybody out of their beds. Wardrobes flying, everyone getting sick. And we actually had to rescue a Russian research vessel the day after Christmas. It was so cold, the whole ocean froze over. And there's a 120-meter Russian research vessel got stuck in the ice. And we had the second biggest non-nuclear icebreaker in the ocean. So we got in front of it. We actually had to tow it. And then we got stuck. And the only way we could get out of the drift was they had to ram into the back of us, and we had to combine all our horsepower to like nudge through the ice.
Jesus Christ, that would be terrifying.
It was epic. It was, and it just so beautiful. And there's a lot of life there as well. You know, you see loads of whales. You know, you go to Deception Island. It's like 1 million penguins there. They shit every color of the rainbow. It's fucking. Honestly, I highly recommend it. And the weird thing about it is you have 24-hour daylight as well, so it feels in a way like you're, you know, with the 3-day journey across the sea and then the permanent daylight. It feels like you're visiting another planet.
Jesus Christ, that would like. Did you feel like you were gonna die when that ship was like waving and all that shit?
Oh, then the polar. No, we had a big ship, you know, but the waves were absolutely epic. I never felt in danger, you know. Would highly recommend it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've seen some cruises down there. I want to go for sure. I honestly, I don't know if you're the same way, but if I don't travel every 3 months, I get like anxiety.
Bro.
I can't.
This is killing me, this quarantine.
I know. I'm locked down here. I was able to go to Okinawa. Have you been to Japan?
No, unfortunately, I've been dying to go for years. I was trying to get over for the Rugby World Cup. It just didn't happen. It's one of the few places that I haven't been in Asia. Been every country in Southeast Asia, Mongolia, China, all that, but never Japan, Korea as well. But soon, hopefully.
How did you find Korea?
A bit meh, to be honest.
Yeah,
That's
I
yeah,
mean
a bit meh.
the Korean, like the top of the Korean food chain in regards to girls. Those girls are super super super
Oh
hot.
yeah.
But I don't like Korean girls' attitudes personally.
Yeah, and like compared to Japanese girls, like they don't, they're so homogenous in the way they look, their haircuts, their dress. They're kind of halfway for me between Japan and China. You know, they're
Hmm.
right in the middle there. Their attitudes and their dress sense. I find
Hmm.
Japanese girls just far more attractive.
I banged a Mongolian girl this year for the first time, and she had
Big
phenomenal
cheeks.
tits. She had huge tits and a great
Uh,
vagina. She was a real bitch though. Like one of the nastiest people I've ever met in my entire life. She was a real cunt, but I was able
they're
to
tough
finesse that one.
people.
What's that?
They're very tough people. I got in a fight in Mongolia. They're very
Really?
tough. Yeah, they're nothing like other Asians. They've got more of that like Russian kind of tough attitude about them.
What was it like there?
They're very protective of the women. Like if you go and approach a girl in Mongolia, the guys will start something with you. It's one of the most aggressive places I've ever been for that kind of thing.
Holy shit!
Yeah. They're like, what are you talking to our women for? And
Wow.
they're bigger guys as well. You know, a lot of them are in the gym. They're kind of stocky. They got that Kangas Khan blood running through them. Yeah, but to be honest, you can still have fun there, of course, but they're just a bit aggressive.
Fucking hell. That's
Yeah.
pretty. I mean, the Japanese guys, they'll kind of they'll do that too. They'll salt your game when you're out once in a while, but they're not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but how you alpha somebody in Japan is like you out polite them, and
Ah.
so you know they're kind of like they ask the girl like, "Oh, are you okay? Are you gonna be okay tonight?" And she's like, "Oh shit, he's calling me out. Like, are you gonna be okay? Is this guy gonna be okay with you?" And but yeah, like it's just like it's the equivalent of like being a black guy in America. Like you're kind of like the fringe guy. If you see a girl dating you, it's kind of like, oh, this girl's kind of edgy or whatever, because that's like how the mindset is here. Everybody doesn't realize how everybody in America or in the Western countries, they just think like white people are like big bad racist people, and only white people are out to like be racist and oppress everyone. It's like, you guys, you should like travel more. Like Asian people in Asia are so fucking racist. They hate each
Oh,
other.
bro. I know. I know. They're very very racist, especially in China as well. Like they don't like dark skinned people. Let's just say that.
Oh, really? In general?
Yeah, well, I think in a lot of Asian countries it's like that, to be honest. But that was my impression in China, and it's sort of a consensus. They
Hmm.
even did you see that controversy that there was during the coronavirus? I believe there was some McDonald's who put up signs. They tried to kind of scapegoat Africans for the disease, and there was a McDonald's who it was all over social media that said no black people allowed in the store.
In China?
Yeah, in China, yeah, it was all over social media. They had to apologize. McDonald's had to apologize. I think it was McDonald's. Yeah, so yeah, uh,
I've been denied service a couple of times. Like they're just like, "Oh,
oh yeah.
sorry, like you have to have a member's card here." I'm like, "Yo, this is like it's like the equivalent of a McDonald's of a karaoke bar. Like they just like of a chain across the
Yeah,
country."
I've heard that in Japan. There's certain which actually just on that note, while you continue that links to a question here. What's the story with tattoos? Like, would they let you in with tattoos, or how do girls out with tattoos as well?
Hmm. Girls with tattoos here
Well,
are
no, guys. Like, how do they? I heard you can't get into certain places. Let's say if you have tattoos,
yeah,
and
there's certain onsens you're just not allowed into. There's certain gyms that if you have a tattoo, like you're just not allowed in. They're
oh,
like, no tattoos, because the thing is, the people who have tattoos here are the yakuza, and I've had a couple run-ins with those guys. Awesome people, very masculine. Honestly, I yakuzas are my cup of tea. To be honest with you, I love those guys. They're a breath of fresh air because they're just so masculine, and they're just such like literal gangsters and like good like. Obviously, I don't know the nitty gritty of the yakuza culture, but they are usually covered in tattoos, and like the average Japanese person is terrified of them. But when you have like that, just that vibe to yourself, like either that playboy vibe or like that badass kind of guy vibe. I'm not saying I'm some turbo badass, but I've been fighting my whole life, and I take relatively good care of myself. I can carry my
you
I can
martial
carry.
arts?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
What style?
Well, I started off. I wrestled in high school for 2 years,
Hmm.
and then after that, I did jujitsu for many years, off and on.
Yeah.
I go now, and then I've been
I
doing
do jiu-jitsu
kickboxing.
myself, man. It's brilliant.
Do you? Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
not as good as I should be. I'm on paper. I'm a one stripe white belt, but I've been doing it since I was 18. It's just I never was consistent, and
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
I'm consistent now here in Tokyo, but the thing is, the lessons are only in Japanese, so it's a little bit
Mhm.
harder for me because I just don't know what the fuck they're saying most of the time.
That's cool that you're keeping up, Lon. That's I said you practice what you preach there. It's I think martial arts is it was a huge getting into the gym, getting a bit stronger, and do martial arts really, really. And I was good with girls and stuff before all that, and I found getting into that I got more satisfaction as a man,
Hmm.
and my masculine development. I just felt a lot more fulfilled doing that rather than pickup actually. So I think it's
Yeah,
really good to be doing that kind of thing.
I think a lot of things happen to you as a man. Like, there's two pinnacle moments every man needs to have. Like, you need to get punched really hard in the face and survive it, and know, like, damn, I just got fucking rocked. Like, you ever get punched and you see like the white electric web go off in your eye? Like, you see that white flash when you get hit so hard. Has that happened to
Hmm.
you?
Yeah, I got a nasty elbow in the eye one time. It's just
Ooh.
fucking yeah,
And
elbows are the
then
worst.
And then I say a man also needs to hit a guy and drop him, like either with a body shot or with a headshot and floor the guy. He doesn't need to go completely out, but the guy just needs to be like, "Yo, I'm damaged. Like, don't hit me anymore." Like, I think every man needs to have that in his life, have it earned to, not like just trading with some like dork. As because it'll give you a lot of confidence as a man, just like knowing like, okay, like I could
Drop
put
a
someone
fella.
down if I need to.
I got another question here. Is so are your value as a guy, money, looks, game, etc., perceived in a different way? Example: most Japanese guys are very androgynous. How do girls react to muscular guys? Then there, I presume.
It's so it's most guys. Japan has the lowest obesity rate in the world, so they're just a slender people, and so when you have a little bit more muscle, obviously you stand out. The threshold for because Japanese girls are more petite too. They're like, the average Japanese girl probably weighs like 115, 120 pounds. So if you're a guy and you're like 170, 180, and you're relatively strong, girls are gonna be like, "Wow, you got some big muscles," compared to like in America where you need to be like jacked to fucking out of your mind for
Oh
girls to be
man,
like,
the standard there for in the gyms is insane in America.
it's not healthy.
I felt like I go to I live in Malta in the Mediterranean.
Hmm.
I have bars and stuff. But in the gyms here, I'm looking better than most lads. But when I went to Harlem, when I was living up in Harlem, I go in and I feel like a scrawny little cunt.
Hmm.
These lads are just absolutely shredded. I'd say loads of them are doing roids as well. So I guess New York is very competitive like that. And
Yeah.
just another question here for you. So for guys watching, if they had 2 weeks to do a trip to Japan, where would you recommend? Do you have any ideas about itineraries or any tips?
I mean, depends. Are you trying to get laid or you just trying to have a good time?
Let's say a healthy balance. So like maybe do 2 or 3 locations. So get a bit of Tokyo and have fun, and somewhere else. Or
So Tokyo, in my opinion, is not that great for tourism, depending on the type of guy you are. If you just want to come here and do like a kind of city tour, go see some shows, go see a couple of like kind of, like touristy temples and stuff, you can come to Tokyo and see some stuff. But if it was up to me, I would say the best place for a tourist based vacation, it's on the west side where
Kyoto?
Osaka, Kyoto, Nara. So Nara Prefecture is where they have the largest Buddha statue in the world at the Todaiji, and it's literally a temple in the middle of like a forest surrounded by deer. So you walk through, the deer are everywhere. You can touch the deer, you can feed
Wow.
them. Then you can go in Osaka. You can go to Osaka Castle, and you can go inside the castle. It was burned down in the war, and So it's like a restored version, but it's still a beautiful castle. You can go inside. You can put on a samurai helmet and you hold all these samurai garbs and stuff. You can watch the history of Nobunaga and all these interesting Japanese emperors of the past. And then Kyoto has the solid gold temple that you can go and see. That's really cool. And then they just like have a lot of more traditional Japanese stuff there. Tokyo is if like you just want to do more party touristy stuff. You know, I ate at this cat cafe and I went to Akihabara, which is like the nerd district. And that's what Tokyo is more for. But if it was up to me, I would definitely go to the West Side. Now, if you want to get with girls, you have to get on all the dating apps. You have to have your dating apps maximized, you know, professional photos, good bio, all these things written perfectly. And then
Is that the main scene there? It's online, you reckon?
No. It's street game. Street game's called Nanpa in Japan. That's like the majority of it is a street game. I mean, the Japanese dating apps are not as corrupt as the American ones, so like they are a little bit more incentivized to matching people because the Japanese are like, "Yo, this is bullshit if you don't have matches, right?" And I would also focus on these things called international parties. So they're all kind of shut down right now, but international parties are where people go to meet people from other countries. But if you look at the pricing system, foreign guys are cheap. Like, so let's just say foreign guys are $10, Japanese girls are $10, and Japanese men are $25.
Oh, that's a nice. I like that system.
So yeah, you know, you go there and you meet girls that we call them over here. We call them gaijin hunters. So gaijin is the word for foreigner in Japan, and there's girls that are just like literally just like gaijin hunters. So you can go. You can
What's
meet
that area? And there's an area Tokyo. It's called Rujipin or Rugapon or something that they.
Roppongi.
Roppongi, yeah.
Yeah, Roppongi's the nightclub district. I lived there for 1 year, and dude, I had a lot of sex. I met a lot of girls. I drank a lot. I partied a lot. I was waiting for my visa to get approved at the time, and I'd taken a break from Japan, and I went from Osaka back home to America, and I was in America for 1 year, and I went from Osaka to America.
Oh no!
And I was like, oh, these girls are disgusting, disgusting. And so I had 10 grand, and I was waiting for my visa, and I remember for 3 months I literally woke up. I fucking went directly to the gym. I exercised so hard for 2 hours. I came home, I ate, and I passed out for 3 hours. Woke up, ate again, and then went out and clubbed and picked up chicks and banged a girl and then went home and just did that for 3 months in a row, like just Chad life. And I blew all my money. Like I said, I had 10 grand. I blew through it in 3 months, and not a single regret. Not a single regret. I fucking loved it. I got out of the nightclub district though because that shit will eat you up if you live there too long.
Yeah. That's it was same with me in New York, man. You could blink and then 20 years of your life go by, and you've nothing to show for it. It's just you just had a good time, all right. But at the end of the day, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
You can get sucked. You can get sucked in the trap. I've seen a lot of like Irish guys who go work in the bars over there, and then all of a sudden they're 50 and they're like, oh fuck, it was.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, have you ever gotten like player burnout? You know, just where you just go on absolute rampage and then just kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I'm like I've at this point I'm 34 now, and I've had sex with about 209 girls so far. So for some players that's like not that high. I think for the average guy that's pretty high.
Yeah, I think any guy who's you know, going into triple digits, you're definitely in the top. Goddamn, you have to be probably top 1%.
You know, potentially, but I'm actually, you know, I'm kind of, dude, I tell you what, it's funny. Getting this dog has made me want to like womanize less. I just want to wake up every day and take care of this fucking thing. And
what's the name again? What's her name?
Happy.
Happy.
Yeah. The girls love it, man. She has an Instagram, The Happy Maltese, because she's a Maltese puppy.
Oh, I live in Malta. So she's from my neck of the woods.
Yeah. So I meet the girls, and I'm going to monetize the dog. So all I do when the girls come to me, they like, oh my God, can I hold her? I'm like, yeah, just make sure you follow her on Instagram. And so you can see the girls that are following her on Instagram, pretty cute too. Like I went to the beach yesterday just because I love the beach. I'm from Florida. so I need to go to the beach, and I took her with me, and I just walked down the street walk down the beach. Girls would just walk up to me. I didn't even think that this would happen, but they're like, "Oh my god, please let me talk to your puppy." They'd say in Japanese, "Oh my god, kawaii, kawaii," which means like it's so cute, it's so cute, and they say "chichai," it's so little. And so I went to the park today
Did
too.
you
Yoyogi
intentionally
Park.
get like the smallest, cutest dog you could possibly find?
I've been a owner of Maltese before. I had 2 Maltese
Ah,
before I came here, and they passed away. But Maltese, as you can see, I mean, look at her. They're very loving dogs. Very, very. They're very needy. They're very loving, and they literally just want to like snuggle up next to somebody and have someone love them. And so I'm a loving guy, and so it's a perfect dog for me. Also, in Tokyo, like I want a pit bull, to be honest with you, but in Tokyo, like life is just not. It's not really set up for you to have big dogs
yeah.
here because the apartments are small. Walking them in the street, you have to like pick up their shit. I'm not trying to pick up some like massive shit every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Maltese size shits, I'm okay with, but yeah, I think I'm kind of experiencing a little bit of player burnout. I say like this, like I say like men's sexuality, it's like, you know, it's like this bottle of water, right? So like when you have sex, like you empty it out, but eventually by nature it just fills back up and you're like, fuck, I need to have sex again. And so, but I feel like as a player, when you have a lot of sexual experiences, the rate at which the bottle fills up is slowed. So
Yeah, that's a
I'll
that's a
never.
good metaphor actually. That's a good way of putting it. The need is not what you know. It's not like you were when you were in early 20s where you just wanted to just go on rampages constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, and once you learn the system, like I can't remember the last time I've been on a second date. I've been fucking girls on the first date for at least 2016, and once you figure out the system and you understand it, you like just get it. The
It's like
whole
video game,
yeah,
a level that you played again and again and again.
exactly. I always say it's like because the mystique is gone. Like I said, you ever play Grand Theft Auto?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like if you put on the max cheat codes, like you have the rocket launcher, you just keep on killing the cops, you can reset your stars, you can do all the cheat codes. You only play that like for 20 minutes. Nobody sits there and does it for an hour. At least I didn't.
And what do you do for dates in Japan? Do you go for a drink?
Starbucks.
Starbucks. All right.
Starbucks. And I never buy them a venti. They got to earn the venti. So the first date, it's tall or it's a grande, no ventis. That's my philosophy that I tell my guys. She
They
has
work
to
their way
earn.
up.
She has to
See
earn
that
that
chart
fucking
there?
venti. So no, I tell them this. This is my philosophy. I tell them exactly like this. I go on the date and I get her life story, right? And throughout the life story, I strategically mention that I'm a video taker and that I travel to these exotic locations. And a lot of Japanese girls don't travel. A lot of girls in general don't travel.
Well,
And
they only have
so,
10 days off a year or something miserable over there, don't they?
yeah. But there's a lot of public holidays. It's a lot of hype in regards to that. But the the thing is, I tell them at the 33% mark of the date because I have a timer about an hour, hour and a half max, and I let them know I do a lot of travel videos. I do a lot of travel videos. So 33%, 67%, and then like 90%. And then at the end of the date, I just say, hey, let's go check out some of my travel videos. They would be really cool. And then after an hour, she's gonna be pretty much cool with you. And then I bring them back. I show them the travel videos, and then I just go for the bang. And it's pretty much that's my system.
Nice and tidy. You don't
Yeah,
have to be poisoning your body with alcohol every time you go out. Just a wee
I
coffee.
I barely drink anymore, man. I barely drink anymore.
Speaking of which, I gave up coffee for the last 2 weeks. I've never done it in my life. It
Uh huh.
radically changed my life. But I actually had one just before I interviewed you because I wanted to get jazzed up. The police. I was up last night. The police shut down one of my bars. Lockdown issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to deal with that crap last night. So it was needed a bit of a pick me up. But so I'm a bit wired.
That's good.
But
That's good.
you ever try giving it up?
Alcohol?
coffee, man. It
Oh,
blew my mind. I'm sleeping the best in years. I am.
I
But,
don't care about it. I love coffee. I don't care.
I know I had sleep issues, so it's like it was. Anyway, going off topic. So generally just coffee. You wouldn't bother with drinks, and then coffee straight home in the middle of the day, or would you? Is that the?
Middle of the day,
Mm.
sometimes I'll take them to you know, sometimes I'll go to like a local izakaya, which is like a bar.
Mhm.
And so I'll eat like skewers, chicken skewers, and I'll have like they have something here called shochu, which is like distilled white wine, if you will. Right, it's basically rice wine,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm
Soju.
they
Is that Korean?
that's soju. Japanese have
Oh,
shochu.
okay, okay.
So yeah, don't say that here. They'll be like, "That's not us, those Korean devils." Like, they hate each other. It's funny.
Bad
Um,
history.
oh my god, it's so funny. When all the Asians over here hate each other, I think it's hilarious. Like, I think
Yeah,
it's hilarious how everybody hates China too.
yeah. We've a couple of questions actually for you. So, did Julian Blank and Logan Paul's antics over there in Japan make the local news as there were big headlines elsewhere?
Yeah,
I guess. And was it a big deal over there? Was there anti kind of foreigner sentiment after it, or?
there's always anti-foreigner sentiment here, but Japan is like super homogenous society. 98% of the country is Japanese. So, anytime the news has an opportunity to demonize a foreigner, they do it. But it is what it is. Like, a lot of it's like I don't know, like I know black people feel it, and then maybe you feel it sometimes too. But like, you ever just like walk down the road in a foreign country, and you could feel like somebody's looking at you and be like, this fucking, like you
Yeah,
can just
man.
feel them being racist towards you.
Haiti and Jamaica is a bit like that, and I lived in Harlem as well, so some parts of that they're not very friendly.
Oh, I'd be walking down the street sometimes. I remember like some bum at a convenience store was grilling me when I was with my ex girlfriend. She was really hot, and I was just like, dude, you're like fucking covered in your own filth. Like, you think you're gonna fucking take her from behind that register and support her on your 7-Eleven salary? Get the fuck out of here and bag up my groceries. But it's just like, sometimes you got to deal with that. But that's just built into the news here. Like, if something goes down, like an American does something crazy, like, they fucking crash a car or whatever, they'll be like, they always say this. They always say like the age and the gender and the fucking country they're from. So they profile him like a 36-year-old American male was caught driving drunk and he hit like fucking a lady and this is unbelievable. And they just like indirectly smear the non-locals. But I mean, that's what any country does, really.
Yeah, there's another question here as well. Sounds like you live in the dream, but what is the hardest thing you had to confront living in Japan?
Um, I would say loneliness for sure because it is so. I don't have any. I don't. I have like maybe one Japanese male friend because they're really just distrusting of us. You know, I guess learning the language could help overcome that, but you really are isolated here as a foreigner. So, like, some people just not going to accept you. You're just going to like not get invited to some events at work or whatever just because you're not Japanese. And that's fine. It's part of life and it's part of the culture. And I wouldn't want these people I wouldn't want to be around people who didn't want to be around me either. But you can just do what I do and just drown your sorrows in a fucking ocean of pussy.
You're very self-aware there.
Yeah.
Oh God, isn't it funny? Like I can imagine there's not a lot of foreigners even living in Tokyo. I mean, they got English teachers, but I can't imagine you relate to them very much.
No, I hate
Um,
English teachers.
mm.
I used to be one, but the majority of foreigners that come here, we call them LBH, which is loser back home. And
Oh yeah,
you get all these guys that
is
got
that
like
an Asian term? I've heard that before in China. They say that.
I mean, they probably have an Asian version of it, but like, I mean, I've always been like a flashy dressing, kind of outspoken, flamboyant kind of guy, just like who
Yeah,
I
you got a
am.
bit of peacocking style. I know.
Yeah,
You got a thing going on.
I hate that fucking term peacocking because I don't even like I didn't like read a book and like, oh, I'm gonna be peacocking. Like I just dress this way because I look great, and so I just dress like I'm if I were to say if I'm emulating anything, I'm more emulating. The reality is like I like guys like Deion Sanders in the '90s. He's a football player in America for the Dallas Cowboys, and he just had so much swagger. But I'm more likely to dress like a pimp than like one of these PUA dorks. I really hate when people nothing against you. I just like when people say, "Oh,
Yeah.
look, you're peacocking." I'm like, no, dude. I have a sense of style. I have a sense of style and fashion. I carefully choose my outfits. I carefully choose my jewelry, my necklace. I'm a big watch guy. I have a Daytona Rolex that I love.
Just look at this
Um,
hideous thing. Fucking hell.
I saw that. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting for
Yeah.
for sure. I'm
Uh,
I'm
that-
not I'm not a
it's mad.
snob or anything, but I'll never wear an Omega. That's so I just I guess that's the level of snobbery I have.
I wouldn't even know watch brands at all now. But yeah, I got so I dressed like a Mexican pirate when I travel, so I have a different thing going on. But that was more for fun. It started as just for fun, and it kind of escalated. We did it one night in Germany,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden we ended up in Syria, Somalia, West Africa, just dressed like it's because it's too much fun. It's too
Wow,
much fun to be dressed like that.
that's funny.
Yeah, but life slowed down a lot for me now because I said I run in bars and stuff here. We're opening our third bar next
Hmm.
month.
Good.
Yeah, it's fun. If you're ever over in Malta, it's a fun place, man. It's a bit like New York. You can party till 6 o'clock
Hmm.
in the morning every night. There's people from all over come here. It's like a little tax haven. Everyone speaks English. It's a
Oh
really good
wow.
lifestyle. It's sunny. It's like by Tunisia, so it's always hot.
Hmm.
It's beaches and it's really relaxed. It's
What are the
great.
girls like? What are they all? Are they what is not black, right? What is?
No, they're like a mixture between Sicilians and they got Arabic influence as well. They're all quite light skinned. Uh, they're kind of Arabic-y looking a bit, like dark hair,
Hmm.
um, good hips, flat arses though.
Hmm.
Uh, they all speak English. They got kind of a quirky accents. Yeah, but they're pretty conservative. They're relatively conservative. I think divorce was only legalized here in 2011.
Wow.
So yeah, it was the last one in Europe. So they kind of got and everybody knows everybody here. The whole country is only 400,000 people. The
Oh
whole country.
Jesus.
Yes, it's very small, but it gets two
Wow.
million tourists a year, so it's very touristy. So
I know a couple Japanese girls that go to Malta, and I know
loads here.
Binance. I
Binance are
know
here, yeah,
Binance is founded in Malta for tax
yeah.
reasons, I believe.
It's right across the road. The Binance office is 1 block from me.
Oof. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I met the CEO,
Oh
CZ.
yeah, the big head.
Yeah, I met him. He was like, it was funny. I met him in like a crypto event in Tokyo, and he's like, I'm the CEO of Binance. I was like, and I laughed at him, and I was like, no, you're not, you fucking liar. And he's like, no, I really am. And then I saw him the next day
Oh,
on Bloomberg. I was like, holy shit, that guy wasn't lying.
oh God, you totally snubbed him. No, I'm serious. Is his head as big in real life as it looks on the images?
No, no, he looks like a normal guy. I mean, it's slightly bigger, yeah, but it's not like Tito Ortiz or anything. It's just like, I mean, no, I didn't really notice it. He's just like a computer guy, like a real dorky looking guy in real life too. Nice guy, super nice guy, very friendly, good with the business, business talk and how to like be socially finessing
Hmm.
people in real life and stuff like that. But yeah, he was. It was. He's. I think he has like a. I think he was working in Japan for a while before Binance took off.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to set up originally, right?
Yeah, Japan has a lot of red tape with all their shit going on in regards to get anything done here. There's red tape. I had to fill out an hour of paperwork to get her. I was like, just give
What?
me the fucking dog.
Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Here,
I made my
sorry, go
girlfriend.
on.
I was like, you deal with that shit.
Here's the that's what they came here. Here is the complete opposite. This is sort of like Wild West place. Everyone drinks, drives. The law is very, very loose. You can
Hmm.
kind of get away with. You can literally get away with murder here. There was a journalist killed here. Her name was Daphne something, and it caused like the prime minister had to resign. there was developers, business people, loads of people had to resign because they were co-conspirators in the murder. So it's very mafia, right beside Sicily. So I like it
Jesus.
though. It's very wild and free. You can drink on the street,
Yeah.
and it's very loose. Especially you can set up offshore companies and pay effectively 5% tax and stuff. No property taxes. I invested in this apartment here, and it's very there's no bureaucracy. I think I took over my first bar. I got in a van, shook a guy's hand, and handed him a load of money, and and the deal was done. I got the keys.
Good.
So it's complete. That's the reason why they came over to here.
Governments ruin everything. So I mean, I'm a big fan of stuff like that. In Japan, there's no time limit as to when they stop. You can serve alcohol 24/7,
Nice.
and then you can drink in the streets as well here.
Oh, cool. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Something free about drinking on the street. I don't think you
Yeah.
live in a free country that you can drink on the street.
We always call it when I was teaching English. We would go out and be like, "You want to go have a street beer?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go do it." And we'd go buy a couple. I would buy these there's like a 9% alcohol it's not a beer. It's called Chuhai. It's like a strong kind of like, I guess if I were to say something, like a strong vodka that mixed with like fruit drink, and you can drink it here, and it's completely like it's like drinking fucking petrol. It's but it gets the job done for like $2.
All right. Well, in Japan, I'm sure that's because I know it's quite expensive, isn't it, to go on the piss there?
No way. No, a lot of people.
No?
There's a lot of dude. I pay for my apartment in Tokyo. I pay about $800 a month.
Is that it?
Yeah,
US? That's nothing. And
Yeah.
is it like one bedroom studio?
2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms,
Yep,
and it's only $800.
only $800
So,
bucks.
Because I just had this idea that the rents in Tokyo were crazy.
Everybody
And,
thought that. Everybody thought everything's so expensive and your life is so impossible and you can't do it. But again, like you just have to talk to people on the ground if you want the real information. And yeah, I love my apartment. It's like this is like I'm in my, like, I guess you would call like my living room / kitchen or dining room or whatever. But I just converted it into my studio because I work from home. So it's now I have like my green screen, my mic stand, I have 2 monitors, I have my cameras, I have everything here. But I mean, it was my plan from the get go. And then it's also a great scapegoat when girls come over. I'm like, yeah, we can't hang out in the studio, so we can hang out in the bedroom.
oh yes, brilliant. Yeah.
I just let them know, like, yeah, this is my studio where I make a fuckload of money and I'm a YouTuber and I'm cooler and better than you. So let's go hang out in my room. They're like, oh, if you have high status, you can kind of dangle it in front of them.
Yeah, and it looks cool as well. Like, talk about showing value straight off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. Let them know, like, I don't have an office job. I just work for myself, and I'm basically the fucking man. So, so lose those panties.
What's it? Do you much? Do you ever like pick up at night, or what's the scene like there for bars and meeting girls?
To be honest with you, I have not gone out to a bar to pick up chicks in the longest fucking time. I have I don't know. I can't show that video. We'll get banned. I went to a strip club the other day with my Irish mate. We had a wild night, and the strip clubs here are a lot different than in America because like anything goes. Like these girls give you blowjobs in the back. They'll fucking you can. I have heard of guys putting like cocaine on these girls' tits and sniffing it off and having a wild ass fucking time. But the majority of my pulls are literally from online because I like I said, I'm 34 now, mate. It's not even, I mean, yeah, it's easy, but it's just like I in my heart of hearts, I find zero value in taking my precious time to like get ready and go out and like go to a nightclub and like try to like do some song and dance for some bitch. Like I would rather get on the internet, go have a coffee with this girl and bang her right off the bat. And like I said, now that I've got this fucking pussy magnet, like I don't even need to go to clubs anymore. Like I show her the little shaved belly. I shaved her tummy the other day because she has too much hair. I say, yeah, you want to see? Look, I shaved her stomach. And then they're like, oh my God. And then I get them to follow me on Instagram. I follow her Instagram, the Happy Maltese. And then I hit him up in the DMs. I'm like, hey, like, Happy told me her name is Happy, and I say, hey, Happy, she told me she wants to see you again. She's like, I want to see her too. I got this dog
it's too easy. That sounds
oh
too
my
easy.
God. I got this dog on Monday, and I've already gotten 25 girls' contact details.
Oh dear, good Lord.
So
yeah, you're about to embark on a whole other journey there.
Well, it's just, like I said, I feel like once, you know what it's like, Mark. Like when you were just starting out the womanizing thing, you were hungry. You're like, I'm going to go approach a million girls. Like, I just want to fuck. I just want to do this. Like, I've already had sex with so many girls, and the process in itself has become boring to an extent. Like, I've mastered it. So it's just like, for me to really...
What's next?
Yeah, for me to like put on some effort and like go and get ready and go drink and shit. I'm like, I'm 34 now. I'm like, oh my God, my calories are gonna be surplus for the day, and
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, that's just because I've already had the fun and I've already, I had a lot of fucking sexual success. Now I'm never gonna be monogamous or like just be like, this is the one girl. This is the one girl here for me, right here. This
Do you want to start a family at all, or?
Yeah, for sure. I want kids. I want to like have sons, and I want to like just do the traditional kind of like build an empire using your family. Like my goal now is just I'm going to be a millionaire, and so I'm working my fucking ass off every single day to make it happen. I work 7 days a week on this business, and I fucking just I love what I do. My body language mastery program that I came out with, like it was just going to go just for last year, but there was so much demand that I did it again this year, and I've been helped. I literally, I talk about the hot dude life. It's a mentality. Like you are definitely living the hot dude life in my opinion. And so, I'm just talking about, I want to build a hot dude army. And I have guys all over the United States. I go and I meet these people. I have guys in my Telegram chats. I have guys in my private community. And this thing keeps growing and growing and growing. And I don't see myself slowing down. I want to have like 100,000 or 1 million members one day. So.
Oh, you will, man. You're very consistent, and it's all about consistency.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I'm terribly inconsistent online now. Online because I'm building offline. Offline empires, but yeah, you need to be consistent, and you clearly got the work ethic, so you're gonna get there, no problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So, I've been fucking around a lot on Seeking Arrangement. I don't know if have you been on there yet?
Is that the benefactors? No, sorry, is that the one where it's like sugar daddies or something like that?
Yeah, but I don't pay these bitches. No, I salt them. You know what a salt daddy
them?
is?
No. Tell me.
So you're a sugar daddy. Is a guy who has sugar in the money.
Yeah.
Salt daddy is a guy who, it looks like sugar, but he's actually salt. So it means you bang them without giving them any money. So I'm a salt daddy.
Oh God, I have a word for that as well, but it's less classy. That's good. I like that, salt daddy. That's brilliant. Listen up, lads. Add that to your repertoire. So that's a whole. It's like when I go traveling in Africa. Like I did a lot of traveling there, but before smartphones were a thing, and a lot of girls don't have smartphones there. You have to meet them at night. But the problem when meeting at night in Africa, a lot of the girls are on the game basically. Like you go to places where it's 90% of girls are on the game everywhere at night.
Prostitutes.
So yeah. It's just normal over there. It's in most of Africa, really. Not so much in more developed places like South Africa or even Kenya. So basically, you have to seduce the girls to come home with you for no money. I call it shoring, because you're seducing the horse, essentially. But unfortunately, when you're traveling in Africa, you kind of have to play that game a bit, because otherwise you're not going to meet people. Now, I'd say nowadays a lot more of them have smartphones, but it's the same kind of system except a bit rougher.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm a big fan of not giving these girls a single dime.
Hell no.
I don't even buy them. I don't even let them get a venti on the first date. And it's not because I'm cheap.
Though? With the girl, I presume in Japan, the girls expect you to would they expect you to pay for the first coffee or something, or would they go Dutch or?
So, actually, it's a nation standard to go Dutch.
Oh wow! I didn't know that about Japan.
Yeah. So when you pay for the bill or something, Now, I usually just cover it because, like, I'm fine. But some girls, like, they hear, like, oh, American guys, they'll pay for the bill. And so you can, like, go out with a guy and, like, you know, they'll basically just they'll just use you to go have a free dinner. That's happened to me a couple times. But, I mean, it's also a way to stand out, in a way that you're just like, I pay the bill. But if I remember I went out with this one chick, she was Korean. Oh man, I fucking hated this girl. She was really hot, but I just like, she had such an insufferable personality, but she had really big tits. She was fucking super hot, but I just hated her.
Entitled.
And so, oh, just like extroverted and just talking so much. And then we're in the middle of our date. She's like, "Oh, I invited my brother and his friend." And then they came, and then they started ordering food on our tab and all this shit. And I was like, I didn't care, but it was just fucking annoying. So in situations like that, when I'm like annoyed by the girl, I'll insist that she pays half, just on principle. Like I said, I have money, but it's just like on the principle.
Screw you.
Yeah, like I'm like, and then I went back to I banged her that night, but I was just like, I fucking hate you. So that's how you can strong arm them if they're trying to strong arm you into paying for the bill. You can counter strong arm because it's a cultural norm to go Dutch.
Nice. I have another question here, actually. So we say that we're the average of the 5 people we spend most time with. In your case, being alone abroad and starting from nothing, how do you build your circle? And this question for myself as well. So you can go first, man.
So it just takes time to find quality people. So the top 3 people I hang out with is my Irish friend, Mac, who's just the most red pill gangster friend I've ever met in my entire life. This
Shout
guy
out to Mac.
Yeah, Mac. Yeah, he's watching right now.
What's his Instagram again?
Mac the Day Gamer. You should interview him. He's got a lot to say.
Yeah. I have a good chat with him. Mac, if you're interested, get in touch.
He's on Instagram. I'll have him reach out to you.
What's the Instagram? His one where he photographs the girls' bums.
Drip Drop Slop SLOP.
All right, it just sounds dirty.
Oh, it is. He's a real dog. I love him. He has some. He tells me some of the craziest stories. Like, I don't want to segue here, but I have a fucking hilarious story I could tell you later.
Go for it. All right.
But in regards to the circle thing, so I hang out with him. I hang out with my buddy Charlie from cultivatecrypto.com, right? Because he's an influencer like me, heavily into the crypto sphere, very dead set on becoming a millionaire too. And then I hang out with the CEO of Bread Wallet, and he is a multimillionaire right now himself.
Oh, nice. So he's a Bitcoin wallet, is it?
Yeah, it's a multiple cryptocurrencies. Right. BRD, Bread Wallet, and he is a fantastic guy, and he
good circle, man.
Yeah, it's funny because I hang out with him because he's atrocious with his understanding of game and stuff. So I always make fun of him for that, and he always calls me poor. He's like, "You're poor." He's like, "You're so poor, it's disgusting," and it's good because I need to hear it, and it's need to
reverse psychology. Yeah,
it's good to be around people like that. But then I tell guys this, what you can't make up for in the physical, in 2020, you can supplement with the digital. I talk to people within my community that are multimillionaires. I talk to people like my personal trainer. He's in Louisiana, and he teaches me how to eat proper food. I take TRT. Steroids illegal in Japan, so you can own testosterone and steroids.
Oh,
so I take a little bit of TRT.
Do you find that helps?
For me, it just gives me endless energy.
Oh, well, that's an endorsement.
Yeah, you do have to stick yourself with a needle twice a week. But hey, it is what it is. So I do that. I balance my hormones with him, my diet, my exercise. And if you find a lot of these top CEOs, they're all on TRT.
Interesting.
It's a performance boost, man. And you're literally cheating death. Like, there's no need to age anymore in the year 2020, not at the normal rate. So I do that. And then also I supplement.
You can get pills, though, isn't there? Is there? I heard you can get pills for that as well, or do you have to just mainline it?
Pills are not as effective as just injecting yourself. There's a cream now that you can my buddy uses it. there's a cream you can rub on your nutsack, and you shave your balls. I'm not even
Yeah.
joking. You shave your
Yeah.
balls and you rub this testosterone cream on your nutsack once a day. You wake up, you just rub it on, and you're good to go.
What? That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Ah,
So,
super juice.
dude, I wake up with like boners now that are like would put an eye out. It's fucking unreal. It's
Wow.
fantastic. But I feel like so young and energized, and I'm able to go to the gym 5 days a week. So, but my circle is all supplemented digitally where I cannot find it physically. And a big thing for me is this: like, I do not hang out with people in real life that are energy vampires. So an energy
Mm-hmm.
vampire is like when you're done hanging out with a person, you feel exhausted.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
people who complain, people who have like Trump derangement syndrome, just want to
Mm-hmm.
complain about Trump. People who are, for lack of a better word, losers, not dedicated to making things
Mm-hmm.
happen with their life, who don't want to make shit with their life. They don't want to fucking get out and do something, you know, or if they're just complainers, or they have bad habits, like they're obese, or they're just eating all the time, or complaining all the time, or blue pilled. I do not. I actively avoid those people.
All right, nice. And just to answer your question there, man, for myself, I I have a friend who I went to college with. He set up in Malta first, so I kind of followed him over here. And I've actually a few friends that are YouTubers, writers. That's kind of my circle. Obviously, in the bars, I meet tons and tons of people. My brother moved over here as well, so he's in the room next to me. So yeah, and my dad comes over a lot. So family and friends, and so yeah, so I have a pretty close knit clan here. Yeah, that's my answer anyway. I will put that away.
Nice.
Uh, okay, but yeah, it's hard to find good people, man. It's especially when you start leveling up. That's when it gets hard because you start passing by people. And I even noticed with when I went back home, some of your old friends get a bit not resentful, but kind of like almost talk down to you, when you start moving up. And that's what happens. You just gonna, when you start leveling up, you're gonna find people on your level. That's how
Hmm.
life is.
Yeah, I friggin' without a shadow of a doubt, like I just I've noticed it. It's very unfortunate, but I've seen it happen these last 2 years. Like when you get successful, like you hold a very uncomfortable mirror up to these
Yeah,
people
bingo.
for them to be like, yo, this guy used to be a bum like me, and now he's like super rich, or he's super successful, or he's banging a bunch of broads, changed his body. I go to the gym 5 days a week. I post it on Instagram every day, and some people are like, hey, why are you going to the gym? Like, are you going through something? Are you
What?
stressed out or whatever? And I'm like, no, I'm fucking awesome.
That's so
Like,
dumb.
yeah. And so when I'm happy when those people mention these things to me and do those kind of things, because then I'm just like, you know what? Like, thanks for showing me who you are, and now I know to like actively avoid you.
And just before we finish up, just back in Japan, right? Just because obviously I titled the where the focus is going to be on Japan. So, is there anything that you want to add about like people thinking about going there, or the girls, or like what's the like how are the girls over there for? Let's say, are they cool with you like dating other girls? Are they jealous?
Well, it's like, they you have to I had a good analogy the other day from one of these guys, right? And he said, if we had $5, right, and you had to split it amongst five girls, each girl would be like, probably like, no, I don't want to split that $5 because then I only get $1, right? But if you had $500 million and you had to split it between five people, they'd be like, yeah, no, we can make this work. Like, we each get $100 million each. That's what it's like when you become a high value man, because women will share an alpha.
Yeah.
They would rather share an alpha than have full possession of a beta.
Yeah, that's like rational male kind of 101
And
stuff. Yeah.
so the higher your value is as a man, the more likely these girls, because dude, girls are like mercenaries, man. Love is not real. Men are the real romantics.
I agree. Yeah.
And these girls are out for themselves, and they're out for your seed, and they're out for, their financial safety.
Resources. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And so if you're a boss, like they'll tolerate it, man. That's why some of these girls stay in like physically abusive relationships, emotionally abusive relationships, because the guy is just high enough value. And women inherently have the scarcity mindset. So they think like, how, it's female nature. It's like, how can I
And they got the
preserve?
ages against them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they literally have scarcity, and that's in terms of eggs.
Yeah.
So
So the
that's the
girls,
mentality.
like, I mean, the Japanese girls, it's just more so. It's not like they're more. I think a lot of Japanese girls are familiar with their husbands being adulterous too, or whatever, but they kind of turn a blind eye to it just because everything's good at home. That's the one thing. When compared to like American chicks, they'll be very fucking vindictive to like set out to fucking ruin your life if you cheat on them or try to make a monogamous situation polyamorous.
So just answer the question here. Yeah, and so like so it's pretty handy for you. So
Mm-hmm.
do you see yourself in like do you see mentioned real estate? Do you invest over in Japan or?
No, no, no. I'm gonna invest in America because the dollar is still king right now.
Yeah, sorry about this.
So I mean, I just invest in um, real estate because there's a lot of talking about taxes and like depreciation is a good asset for or a good write off for
Oh
taxes
yeah,
and stuff.
real
So
estate's the fucking king, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just I know even if everything goes tits up as well, it's sort of like a retirement fund. You're paying into something. You get people to rent it out, and you're paying into something that's worth a fortune in a few decades, and it go up in value. Like I bought this place, turned it into a 3 bed. It was a 2 bed. It's right beside that Binance tower,
Mm-hmm.
and in the year I bought it, Malta had the highest increases in property price in the world. It went up 17% in just 1 year. And like they're serious returns. Apart from crypto, I know you got into crypto around like 800 and something, didn't you?
Yeah, around 2016, I bought my first portion of a Bitcoin. I didn't buy a full one, but I bought it at like $800.
Nice.
I'm not gonna say how much I own now, but I do advise people to take a look at cryptocurrency, what is going on
100%.
with the market, and understand that it's something that's here to stay and it's in its infancy.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I got in around 6:30, and I remember when I made double my money, I sold half it, and I was like, yeah. And then I saw how much it went up. I was like, oh, fuck.
That's everybody's story.
Yeah, and I lost like 5 figures in the crash there. In the big crypto crash in 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, that,
Oh
that,
yeah.
that hurt as well. But I'm holding. I believe. I have faith.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the inherent like mechanisms in regards to how it's going to increase its value, you're in a good spot. Don't worry.
All right, man. So we're coming up on an hour and a half. Thanks for. We'll start kind of finishing it up now. Thanks for coming on, man. And it's good to
Yes.
finally get in touch. Thanks to Troy for putting us in touch.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you too. Yeah, and feel free to come on over. We'll interview you on my show, and I can do that in like sometime in July. And then yeah, it was good to
Cool.
be here.
And hopefully I get to Tokyo one day.
Yeah, definitely. If I could just say, like, I'm on June 25th, I'm launching enrollment for my body language mastery course. You just go to modernlifedating.com/body language. And what this gets you is 9 weeks of webinar training on Zoom with me, a full video breakdown of 2 Japanese models that I filmed that give examples of positive body language versus negative body language so you know when she's sexually interested in you or not. You get lifetime access to a men's only Facebook group where we talk about all these things, making money, making muscles, learning game. And you get access to the previous webinars where we talked about all of the self-improvement stuff that men are needing in a very red pill fashion. That's over 90 hours of footage. So
Damn.
modernlifedating.com/body language. It's going down June 25th. and I do a live stream show every day, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel, Modern Life Dating on YouTube.
Boss. All right, man. Thanks a million, guys. Thanks for everyone who asked questions and commented. Yeah, we'll end it there. Take
Alrighty.
care, right? See
Thank
you, man.
you.
Adios.